On this episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast, we're going to be talking about the Opa Locka Flea Market closing down. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. One of the most historic flea markets in the city of Miami is shutting its doors. Now, I've had some history. I've shopped here a couple of times. I've bought a couple of things here when I was young and in my later years. Okay, I went in there. I needed a bike helmet. I found the bike helmet, and then I needed, some sex toys or something. They were there. I went from going in there to buying ice cream, and then going in there to find a guy that sells drugs. This flea market was so ingrained into our society in Miami, into our culture. I thought it was better than Walmart. People just bring their tchotchkes, homemade stuff. Stuff that was manufactured. You can get like high-end audio equipment at the Opa Locka Flea Market. You can buy some grandma's homemade jewelry there. You could buy stuff that was stolen and resold in the market. If you stole something in Miami and a pawn shop is giving you a hard time, like, put your thumbprint here and make sure that, you go over to the Opa Locka Flea Market and you say, hey, man, I got this whole home speaker system. Give me $50 and it's yours. Surely enough, they'll buy it off for you. No questions asked. And that's one thing that you got to appreciate about something like the Opa Locka Flea Market. The location, the way things are sold, the history of it. And since it's in the Opa Locka area, you got to make sure that you're well equipped, right? Dia or Abuela going in there, surely enough, they're strapped, right? They got a little pistol in their purse or some mace or maybe a taser. And if you don't got it, surely enough, you could buy it there. Hell, they'll probably give it to you for free. You walk in, you know how they give out like free stuff like hand sanitizer or like a keychain or something when you walk into a store? The Opa Locka Flea Market could basically give you mace and a taser just for walking in there. Or for $1. 2 AA batteries, you're all set. If you think that credit and debit card are accepted here, you're wrong. And even if they did, they would frown at the fact that you're going to a flea market with a credit card or a debit card, because cash is king at the Opa Locka Flea Market. If you go in there with a wad of cash, they will roll out the red carpet for you, and it gives you negotiating power, okay? If you got a debit or credit card, forget it. If it says $100 for the TV is $100. Plus whatever fee they add on top to cover whatever costs for them running the card for you. But if you go in there with cash, a $100 TV can go as low as $15. You pull out the cash and be like, I'll give you $15 right now. All right, let's make it 20. No, not 20, 15. I will give you a 10 and a 5. I'll tell you what, I'll break the 5 into singles. Okay, my friend, it's yours. Take it. Take it. Anything to cover the loophole of them avoiding taxes over at the Opa Locka Flea Market. So it's a shame. I'm not going to lie. I feel as if Miami is losing a part of its culture. I feel like Miami is losing a part of its identity, its historic identity. The society of Miami is losing a great location to go and explore. If you want to get something cheap, if you want to get something quick, you could go in there and get something like from a hair comb to a surfboard. At the Opa Locka Flea Market, and anybody in your family can benefit from whatever they go in there, whether you go with your grandma, whether you go with your mom, your grandpa, your uncle, your girlfriend, you're bound to find something. The Opa Locka Flea Market was the first metaverse in Miami. You go in there, there's just a bunch of worlds interconnected together in one world that is the flea market in Opa Locka. So far, what I can tell, there's no reason. Why is the Opa Locka Flea Market closing? Yeah, it doesn't say. Did they sell the land? Are they building something there? Is another stadium coming? Are they putting it there? That's probably it. It's probably just another big business move where the acres of lands are being sold for some new construction in the city of Opa Locka or something. Yeah, it's a shame. That place is super historic. And I think there's also an economic thing where the owners of the property are like, look, the business model that we're operating in is still in the past, where people are selling goods. Most likely they don't have like an online e-commerce store. They're just selling goods just to sell goods on our property. I feel we can do better. I feel we can sell this land to developers and we can open an ice rink here. Something random like that, right? Like Miami would probably just like surprise you with like a random development deal. Hey, Miami needs a rugby team, so we're closing down the Opa Locka Flea Market and starting the first rugby team in the city of Miami. Francis Suarez like cutting the ribbon. I advocate this place. A rugby team? Isn't that a European? I said Miami needs a rugby team. Or maybe like a casino in Opa Locka or something. I don't know. Miami is very surprising. Miami's doing big moves, with its eyes closed, doesn't care about, who gets cut off, who's getting kicked out in 30 days. It's a shame. But at the same time, that's Miami for you. It's cutthroat. It's random. It's the next big thing. Hell, they might even do a Bitcoin thing on this property. You just set up tents and just people talking about Bitcoin and NFTs and stuff. I don't know. Miami is just so surprising like that. If there's a property person, if there's someone that's, that owns some sort of property or has a space, I say if you move the old school flea market model to that space, I still think it's a good model for people that want to go out and explore the culture of Miami in a location where commerce is rampant, where people just have random things. You just go in there and you could just find anything. And it's a time saver. If you go to Walmart, sure, you can have a little bit of everything there. But then when you go at the end, when you're done shopping, you then got to wait for like 4 cash registers to take care of the entire Walmart store. Over at a flea market, every single store has its own register, if you can call it that, which is a guy with a box. Gladly taking your cash.